All right, so the next thing we're gonna make is something you could call a disassembler, but essentially it's a way to pretty print a chunk of code. So let's try to see what happens when you print a chunk of bytecode right now. So it looks, let me remove these print statements up here, and let's try to run it again. So as you can see, it just prints, it's a chunk, and the code inside it is something like this. And if we append another one, then it will look like that. So it would be nice to have something that looks a bit nicer. So we're gonna make a pretty printer. Also known, could also be known as a disassembler, if you want to sound extra fancy. So let's make a function that we call disassemble. Disassemble, something like that. It's a procedure, and I suppose it will take a chunk, which will say it's a pointer to a chunk, and then it should output a string. So I forget how to do that in Odin. Let's have a look at the documentation, procedure. It's an arrow, so it's gonna be actually, let's have a look also at how strings are in. They are just like that. Okay, so it's gonna output a string, and for now we will just say let's try to do something like this. So let's make a string which is empty, and then we'll try to do, I wonder if I have to import, we'll try to do something that prints to this, and it will just print the chunk, and then we return the output. I'm pretty sure this won't work. So we have to do something. Okay, so it actually kind of worked. Let's just try printf for a second. Okay. So what we would kind of like to do is to say, let's call it assembly, and we will disassemble the chunk, and then we will print the assembly. Right, and we need to pass by a pointer. Okay, so it's totally failing because I don't know how printf works. So let's try to find out. What is v? That apparently worked. What if we dereference it? Should be like that. Okay. And I suppose can we do something like append to output a new line. No string we can also look here in the, this is the Odin repository. We can search for something like something that takes a string. I'm not sure, let's do like that. There's a lot of CPP. Let's try only looking at Odin files. And it is not super easy. There's something like a string builder. So actually perhaps we're looking for something like this temporary printf. Let's try that one. And that should return something that we can call the output. And gonna remove that. Okay. Disassembled. All right. So, but the thing, how do you append to a string? Like oh, probably it's called concatenate. Let's search for that. Concat in Odin files. Strings. Here was an example. So we have to import strings and then we can use concatenate. It makes sense. So we get strings. Then we will do this format. And then we could say concatenate the output with the new line, let's say. Let's try to run that. So it has to be kind of an array. That's not nice. What if we do like this? Okay, so that worked, and I can put anything in here. I thought I could. What does this do? It returns a result. Okay, so I have to say, can I should be able to do this. Can I just ignore that, pretend there's no error? Yes, I can. Okay, great. So we're going to do something like this. And first we're going to make the output, which I want to be a string. And it's going to be empty. And then we're going to say for... Then we're going to do a for loop. Let's see how that works. Where was the overview? Was it down here? Yes. Control flow for statement. And can I do certain built-in types can be iterated over. So let's say, and it's like in, so let's say for byte instruction in chunk.code, output will be the concatenation of the output with the, let me just close the other one. Something like this. We'll always add the new line at the end. And let's try to run that. Great. But now instead of just the value, we'll also add a new line. So it looks like this. We have an extra space which is not from our code. It's due to this. Let's just say print line, and then we will say print line like that. Okay, now it's a little bit more clear what's happening. Okay. So can we do something like this? I'm just trying to use my Python knowledge of format strings, which definitely did not work. Maybe it's just that. Okay. So I think that worked. So what we can do is we can say but I want a specific and actually we can also get the index, because I want to print that as well. I want to do something like this, where we print the index, and great. And then we should be able to format this. Let's say 4 zeros. That was not how it was, like that, maybe. Yeah, great. So now we have something like instruction count, and we can support 10,000 instructions. And then we have the code. And because of the way that Odin formatting works, it's already quite nice. Instead of just being like 0 or whatever, it's already the name of the instruction. So that's actually it. This is our disassembler. We just make a string. Perhaps it could be improved by some kind of pre-allocation. We're not going to bother with that. So yeah, that's it. This is like a nice debugging tool for when we write the compiler to bytecode, and we can see that's outputting the correct thing. So I think in the next video we'll start adding some basic instructions other than just return. So I'll see you in the next one.